Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Movesets video. Today's video is going to be all about the Pokemon Marowak, so it's bound to be a good video, right? So let's get started like we always do by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Marowak is a ground-type Pokemon introduced into Generation 1 that possesses 3 different abilities, the first of which being Rock Head, which makes it so that this Pokemon does not receive recoil from any recoil-causing attacks, such as Double Edge or Takedown. Now it is important to keep in mind though, however, that this does not prevent you from receiving recoil from the Life Orb item, so please keep that in mind when using this Pokemon. As for its next ability, it is known as Lightning Rod, which has kind of a twofold purpose, though one of them is completely negated by the fact that this Pokemon is a ground type, meaning that it's already immune to electric type attacks, so it will not get the special attack boost that other Pokemon normally would get when using the Lightning Rod ability. However, this ability is still very useful if you were to use this Pokemon in a double or triple battle, because it will make all electric type attacks directed towards this Pokemon, and thus completely nullified because of its ground typing, which can be very useful if you're using another Pokemon on your team that is weak to electric moves. As for its last ability though, it is this Pokemon's hidden ability, which is the Battle Armor ability, meaning that this Pokemon, when using this ability, will not be able to receive any critical hits, which is amazing for running a defensive set on this Pokemon, but also great for allowing this Pokemon to not receive any unnecessary damage in battle. As for its stats, this Pokemon does have a pretty low HP stat, being only base 60, however this is pretty easily offset due to the fact that this Pokemon does have a base 110 defense, which is very high, and also a base 80 special defense, which is pretty respectable as well, meaning that this Pokemon can effectively run a physically defensive set, while also not being completely obliterated by special attacks like many other Pokemon. As for its own attacking stats, however, it has base 80 physical attack in itself, which isn't that high. However, because this Pokemon has an exclusive item that benefits only itself in the form of the Thick Club, which doubles this Pokemon's physical attack, it can very easily be a very, very powerful physical attacker. However, its special attack is only base 50, meaning that you aren't going to get too much mileage out of that, even though this Pokemon does have an extremely interesting special attacking move pool, being a Gen 1 Pokemon, where most of them have access to a lot of interesting attacks that Pokemon in later generations did not get access to. But for its speed stat, this Pokemon is pretty slow, being only a base 45 speed Pokemon, so keep that in mind in that it's not going to be on the higher end of speed when using this guy, but also keep in mind that this Pokemon, because of this lower speed stat, can be effectively used under the effects of Trick Room. But with that, let's take a look at the first set that I have for you in this video. So for this first set, we're going to start off by giving this Pokemon an Impish Nature to increase its physical defense but lower its special attack, and then going with the Battle Armor ability. As for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into its HP and 252 EVs into its physical defense to max out both of those stats, and put the remainder 4 EVs into its speed just to make it one more point faster in that department, potentially allowing it to outspeed other base 45 speed Pokemon. And for the item, we are going to go with the Thick Club item, which is Marowak's exclusive signature item that will effectively double its attack at all times. And using this item, coupled with our defensive EV spread, will allow this Pokemon to not only take physical hits extremely well, but also deal a lot of physical damage at the same time. As for the moves, the first one we're going to go with is going to be Stealth Rock, which is a move that will allow us to set up a hazard on our opponent's side of the field that will damage them every single time they switch into battle, and also deal increased damage to Pokemon that are weak to Rock-type moves when they switch in. Going along with this, for our main Ground-type stab, we're going to go with a signature move of Marowak's in the form of Bone Meringue over Earthquake, even though it is slightly less accurate, being only 90 base accuracy, even though these moves do the same amount of damage effectively, because Bone Meringue hits twice as opposed to Earthquake only hitting once. And the added benefits of this is that you can break Sturdy, break Focus Sashes, and also break a substitute and simultaneously damage your opponent after the substitute is broken in the same turn. But going along with this, we're going to run Knock Off as a secondary attacking option to deal a really good amount of damage to your opponent while also simultaneously getting rid of their item. And then for the last move slot, either going with Stone Edge for more type coverage or Rest to allow us to recover all of our HP and remove any negative statuses we might have received, getting back up to full and allowing this Pokemon to continuously take physical hits throughout the course of the battle. However, if you do use the Rest move as your last option, I would highly recommend using this Pokemon in combination with another Pokemon on your team that possesses either the Heal Bell or the aromatherapy move to get rid of the sleep status you're going to inflict on yourself. As for the second and last moveset, we're going to design Marowak to be very effective under the effects of the Trick Room move. So we're going to start by giving it a Brave Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its speed, and for the ability either going with Battle Armor so we cannot receive critical hits, or Rock Head so that we don't receive recoil for one specific move that we can run on this set. As for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into its HP to max that out, and also 252 EVs into its physical attack to max that out as well, and put the remainder 4 EVs into its defense. And then for the IVs on this Pokemon, we're going to want to shoot for giving it 0 IVs into speed to make it as slow as possible, so that when Trick Room is up, this Pokemon will be ridiculously fast. As for the item, we're again going to run Thick Club to make this Pokemon's attack effectively doubled at all times, but for the moves, we're also going to seek to increase its attack further through the use of either Swords Dance to boost its physical attacks 2 stages, or Belly Drum to boost its physical attack 6 stages at the cost of losing half of your health. For the attacks though on the set, again we're going to go with Bone Meringue as our main stab ground type move, but also going with Stone Edge this time to give us that really great ground rock type coverage that is very unresisted by most Pokemon that you will be running into with this Pokemon. Though there are going to still be some Pokemon that do resist both the ground and the rock type move in Bone Meringue and Stone Edge, so we're going to run one more attack on the set, which can either be Knock Off to allow us to deal a lot of damage and have some additional dark type coverage, and also simultaneously get rid of your opponent's item, or Double Edge for just a stronger attack overall that if we're running the Rock Head ability will not allow us to take recoil damage when we do use this. So either of these are an extremely viable option that you can run in your last move slot, but overall this Pokemon, if you can get a boost up and Trick Room up at the same time, will be incredibly powerful and deal a ton of damage to your opponents, effectively one-shotting the majority of Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field. But that is it for this video, everybody, so I hope you enjoyed this video and at least found it humorous. But anyways, as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.